Long time no see. If you've been interested in where I've been, check the link in the description below for my Twitch. I've spent a lot of time live on Twitch, much more than I do making content for YouTube now these days. But anyway, these games, Warzone, it's been like the popular game now if we don't count the Valorant beta for a while now. And it's for good reason. The number one question that I have when I was making this video, and as I play this game, and as I've been thinking about what I'm going to say, is I'm wondering, does this game have legs? Does this game have the longevity to move forward from just the free to play excitement into being a game that people are going to be playing through this summer, and not just to this summer, not just in this summer, but through this summer. Call of Duty hasn't had a game recently in a very long time that actually has enough longevity to keep people playing, to keep people excited, and quite frankly, a game that was worth that kind of attention, worth that kind of grind, and this game is it. A lot of people stayed playing Warzone for up until the release of, Black Ops 4 Blackout, up until the release of Warzone. And so that game, had the legs, it had what it needed, and I think this game is going to replace that. And from what I've noticed, my personal experience, the people who I follow that stream Blackout are playing Warzone now, and they said that they would play both, but they're playing Warzone. And so I do think it has the legs, I do think it has the fun factor, and I think the important thing is they're not going to be splitting this game up with any sort of multiplayer, and they are still making content for the current multiplayer. The current multiplayer is still, I would assume, the most played multiplayer in the Call of Duty franchise currently. But that being said, Warzone is definitely on the primary burner, on the hottest burner on the stove. And I think that's good. They have a ginormous lobby with 150 people in every lobby, and so you need to keep that stacked. And so they don't have an equally as exciting multiplayer to go along with it. And quite frankly, there's a lot of problems that just aren't being fixed. And I think that the competitive players are shouting about those the most, just because they're the ones in that game, in those lobbies, in those game types, playing, improving, scrimming, doing whatever it is that they do to be professional gamers. And so they're the one, voicing the concerns about the spawns. The spawns are the worst problem with the multiplayer game, and quite frankly, I'm sure that there's a solution to that takes a lot of resources, and I'm sure you would have to take resources away from Warzone to put it into fixing those multiplayer issues, and I don't think that that's where anything should be going. This focus on Warzone, I think, is important, and I think that that's where things should stay. But to dive more into the solo experience on this Warzone game, I find that it is a much different experience versus the squad dynamic. And I think we're even seeing that the squad dynamic between trios and quads is much larger than we would have expected. I think if we take Apex Legends, for example, everyone was really looking at Apex Legends saying, we want quads, we want squads. Why don't we have squads? We're sick of this trio kind of dynamic. We want quads. That's what everybody wants to play. That's what everybody else plays. And their whole reason was, no, it changes the game. It changes the alts. It changes everything about the way that the game is played. And I think for a real long time, everyone kind of shrugged that off as an answer and saying, no, that's not what people want. That's not what people think is right. Everybody else thinks something different. But I think what we've seen with Warzone and the addition of the squads, it really does drastically change the way that the game is played. And I think playing trios is a lot of fun in this game. I think playing squads is a different type of challenge, but it still keeps me returning to that game type, to that game mode. But one thing that I'm finding particularly frustrating is the solo experience in this game. I think the solo experience in this game is a little bit more frustrating than in other Battle Royale experiences. That being said, I think across the board, a Battle Royale is better as a squad experience with at least one other person. I have found any Battle Royale game that I play is significantly more fun when I'm playing at least with one other people. I do a lot better and I have a lot more fun. So it's a great combo to achieve. And I think that just might be something that only happens when you're playing with a squad. So I don't know how much to so to say dog, knock off points for that for the game itself or for just the experience on its own. But that being said, I think the buy stations and the cars and even the way that the map is constructed really does do a lot to kind of make solos way more of an option than they've ever been before. It's not as bare bones feeling, and so I think that is it's a positive thing, and that's gonna be the thing that keeps me coming back. That being said, where I'm currently in with the game is where I kind of might just pass on playing until one of my friends are free to play. But going into an even, a deeper side of this game, the loadout price changes have been changing, and it's a good sign to me that they've been changing these loadout prices. They've been so far only increasing them and making them go up and up and up. And so I think that is a good thing because it's not something that we've seen from Call of Duty in the past. Them paying attention to the game in such a micro level and making such small micro changes at very timely micro changes as well, which is something that we've never seen out of Call of Duty. So it's something that I'm very excited to see. I think a lot of people are saying different things about the changes, and I'll agree. I don't think that they've needed to happen. I think that they've gotten now to the point where they're too expensive and they're probably going to have to go down a bit, or at least make them tiered differently for different game modes. But I think that it's a good sign that they're paying a lot of attention to this game that we've never seen before. The thing that I can't put my finger on that they're not changing is why there hasn't been an address to the lag issues, to the network issues, to the skipping, to the lagging, to the I've just been having so many network related problems. And it seems like if they're gonna, be paying such close attention that they could figure out a solution to that. And the other thing being the skill-based matchmaking. Sometimes it's way too aggressive. Sometimes it's way too it's not. It's never. There's never a fine balance. I either find I'm in boring lobbies for one reason or another, whether it's too hard or whether it's like too weird. Not necessarily where, I'm way better than everybody else here, but the situation of just being like there's way too much of a weird mix of really good or like top end players, or not top end is wrong, but players that are there's no middle ground between this lobby, and it's a very strange feeling to run into people like running into walls, but then also get people that are just, you can tell, outclassing you, and it's a weird dynamic. Traditionally, Call of Duty does their skill-based matchmaking in a different way than so that we've been seeing in the past couple games. Maybe this one and the last two. The last one we've seen some more algorithmic skill-based matchmaking. But I think it's a frustrating experience in this title, and I think even within Warzone, I'm specifically finding frustrations with the skill-based matchmaking. Not to say that it shouldn't be there, but I'm just having different problems as we go. And like the question that I have had on my mind as this has gone is what needs to change, and I think that the big thing that can happen with me is about player size, is about map size. It's about there's a lot of action going on the map at a time, but not in one space. It's all over. This is a giant map. I don't know how people compare map sizes to different games, but this is an enormous map. Yes, there's 150 people on it, and yes, there's with the gulag and the buyback system, there's a lot more people more often on the map. But that being said, I think it's too large. And that being said, I don't think we need 150 people in a battle royale match. I haven't noticed that that's added anything. I will say this to kind of counter, go back on what I said. This game does have excitement that isn't matched by other battle royales. Usually it's, the standard formula for any battle royale, whether it be Apex, Fortnite, PUBG. There's the X period of waiting, and then plus N period of excitement equals match time. In this game, there's different levels of excitement mixed in. And so it's not just one period of waiting, one period of excitement. You can play a match like that. Yeah, you can play a solos match like that, especially in this game. But with the Gulag, there's more than one moment of excitement, and other than just the hot drop as well. So that's something that I think it's worth the downsides. But that being said, it does create certain problems, and I think I would rather see a map that was a bit smaller, or even the same map modified to be smaller and in a lower player count, or just making the map smaller and keeping the same amount of player count, the same exact mechanic. I just think that it's a little bit too large. Hell, maybe adding more people to the current map, maybe 200 people like they had talked about on this map, is something that plays much better. But that being said, I do think something with either the player number or the map size needs to change. But other than that, I think they're making the small changes that they like. Oh, what is the exact price of the loadout? That'll be figured out in time. And in fact, I'm sure that changes in time. But, getting lag fixed, that's another great thing. But that's just, one solution and then it's over. I think the thing that needs to happen is figuring out what is this player size? What is this map size? That's ideal. But other than that, that's pretty much, what I have from here. The other thing I just really want to say is I think that the content that they've made, I want to talk about, the battle pass, what content that they've had available for the game. I think it's been fantastic content. I think it's been 5-star content, but that being said, I think they have bigger problems. The problems that we just finished talking about, the player size, the lag, the skill-based matchmaking, these things are more important, I think, than these cosmetic things that they're adding and these cosmetic changes that they've made. But that being said, that doesn't make them money. When they tweak skill-based matchmaking in a battle royale that's free to play, they're not making any more money than if they would actually, adding more camos, adding a new level of camo. But that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching. If you're interested in more of this kind of stuff, you can check the link to my Twitch in the description below. But thank you guys for watching, and I am interested in hearing what you guys have to say about Warzone. So let's talk it in the comment section. See you later.